ring. I feel like it'll be a little entertaining. I don't know how long he's gonna last in with these big shots coming at him, but hey, we only time will tell. You know, I'm not here to hype that shit. Not even my business. That's somebody else fish to fry.
Yeah.
You know, I got my own fish to fry.
Terence Crawford is not going to do anything to Canelo Alvarez. Terence Crawford, yes, he's good. He's a 4-division world champion, 2-division undisputed, but he could have even hurt Majumov.
They think that Canelo is easy work because of the fact that he's flat-footed and he just kind of like, he does basic, I would say. He has basic skills, but he's really good at those basic fundamental skills.
Jermell Charlo explains why he thinks Canelo will defeat Terence Crawford. He says the main question is how long Crawford can handle Canelo's power and pressure. Charlo adds that Crawford moving up in weight makes the challenge even harder. He believes the fight depends on whether Crawford can survive Canelo's strength across the rounds. Experts also note that Crawford struggled to seriously hurt Majumov, who is far below Canelo's level. While Crawford looked great against Errol Spence, this is a completely different test. Canelo is a proven legend, more active in recent years, younger, and a much tougher opponent for Bud.
They never got in the ring with anything like a Terence Crawford. They never got in the ring with a former champion, with an elite fighter. And he couldn't hurt Majumov. Canelo Alvarez is no Earl Spence, ladies and gentlemen. I know that some of y'all are hyped because what Terence Crawford did an incredible performance and an incredible job versus Earl the True Spence that was supposed to be the big fish, and he turned the big fish into tuna fish on your outline on your local supermarket. But Canelo Alvarez is not Earl Spence, my brothers. Canelo Alvarez is not Amir Khan. Canelo Alvarez is not Kelbrook. Canelo Alvarez is not Gamboa. Canelo Alvarez is not Felix Diaz. Canelo Alvarez is not Sean Porter. Canelo Alvarez is none of those guys, ladies and gentlemen. Canelo Alvarez is none of those guys. Canelo Alvarez is not the mean machine. Canelo Alvarez is Canelo Alvarez, regarded as one of the greats, and not just the Mexican greats. I don't like how y'all like try to put it. Oh no, he's the best Mexican, just because you don't want to say that he's one of the greatest that ever laced him up. Canelo Alvarez is one of the greatest that ever laced him up. Has carried the sport of boxing on his shoulder. And let me say it like this: leading up to the fight, Canelo Alvarez is more active than Terence Crawford. Canelo Alvarez is more seasoned than Canelo Alvarez is more seasoned than Terence Crawford. He's younger than Terence Crawford. He's more active than Terence Crawford. His resume is better than Terence Crawford. The people that he's fought is better than Terence Crawford. He's fought every damn style. He's fought the best Russians at the time with Kovalev. He fought the best Asian in Kazakhstan and Triple G.
Brooke explains why he leans toward Canelo Alvarez in a fight with Terence Crawford, saying Canelo is unlike anyone Crawford has ever faced. He points out that Crawford's win over Errol Spence was strong but does not compare to the challenge Canelo presents. With his power, experience, and control at higher weight classes, Canelo stands on another level. Brooke believes Crawford has never gone up against a fighter with Canelo's mix of skills, strength, and ring IQ, making this one of the hardest tests of his career.
You've got to sway towards Canelo. Crawford's gonna have to, move up, and I knew when I boxed Golovkin, there's a big difference, especially with someone that, fighting a middleweight, a mediocre world champion's okay, but when you're fighting someone like, Canelo or Golovkin, it's a different kettle of fish, I have to lean towards Canelo, but, Crawford's very, very, very good.
You think Crawford's still got the legs? Obviously, he's very much got great IQ in the ring, but he's very much a good mover as well. Do you feel like he's still got the legs to be maybe outmoving Canelo if he needs to?
Well, I don't know. I think when we look back at Mayweather when he beat Canelo, he's a mover. Crawford's not really like Mayweather in that aspect. He's more, he kind of sets his feet. He's cute with how he approaches chucking shots and moving. You know what I mean? I think it's a different fight to Mayweather, and Canelo's obviously a different fighter from when he boxed Mayweather.
Analysts emphasize that Terence Crawford might be too small to seriously hurt Canelo Alvarez, as he is moving up nearly 3 weight classes with little experience at 154. They compare this to Floyd Mayweather, who had already faced several elite fighters before taking on Canelo, while Crawford has only fought Madrimov at that level. Gabe Rosado adds that when boxers are used to opponents with real power at higher weights, punches from smaller divisions don't have the same impact, raising doubts about how Crawford will deal with Canelo's strength.
I think that Crawford may be too small to really impact and hurt Canelo Alvarez. He's moving up pretty much 3 weight classes, which is exactly what I said. I'm not counting 154. He had 1 fight, bro. He had 1 fight. Floyd Mayweather got more fights at 54 than Terence Crawford. Boop. Because Crawford, he fought Madrimov. Floyd fought De La Hoya, Cotto, and then he fought Canelo at 152. So you had an aging Floyd who fought more times at the higher weight class, and Bud looks to be a bigger dude than Floyd Mayweather, right? So when Floyd was 37, he moved to 52 and fought a much bigger Canelo. Crawford's 37, he fighting Madrimov with 11 fights. Not the same. It's not. I don't care what y'all talking about. The Bud Buddy's just gonna have to be mad at me because truth is truth. So that's a valid question. And again, I'll be glad when this fight's over. Put it that way. I don't care who wins. May the best man win. I hope it's a double knockout. I already told y'all. Just because I'm just over it and I want to get back to some of the other fights. There's other fights that are interesting and they make more sense. Like Brian Norman, Devin Haney. I'm interested in Yard versus Benavidez, etc. There's some fights we're hearing about, blah, blah, blah. So I'll be glad when this is over, to be 100% honest. There's more fights that actually fans have been requesting that matter, blah, blah, blah. But Rosado, he brought up a lot of good points. He was saying Crawford, he thinks he's too small. And he even gave his own personal experience. He said, I'm 180, 190 solid. And when I fight guys that are welterweights, even if they crack and they're known for being menacing, murderous punchers at the lower weight classes, 140, 147, them moving up, it feel like pillows when they fight me. When I get hit with their punches, it feel like pillows because I'm used to getting hit by triple, right? He used to Triple G work. He used to Lemieux work. So to me, this is kind of common sense, but common sense ain't that common, right?
Analysts continue to highlight a key factor in the matchup between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, whether Crawford can handle Canelo's power. Canelo has stopped or worn down many opponents with his punches, and that threat looms over this fight. Some believe he looks flat-footed, but experts argue his style is intentional, built on balance, timing, and efficiency. By planting his feet, Canelo makes sure every punch carries full power. Crawford's defense and movement could help him avoid shots for long stretches, but Canelo's patience allows him to eventually find openings. The real test will be if Crawford can remain composed once the heavy shots land. Many experts believe the outcome won't just depend on who lands more punches, but on whether Crawford's chin and body can withstand the damage.
Is Crawford gonna be able to take Canelo's punches? And is Canelo gonna be skilled enough to not keep on getting banged up by Crawford and his craftiness? It's the battle of two greats, you know what I mean? So I believe that Canelo, you really see him, when you see him fight, he almost got a one-way of style, and it works for him. He likes to get in there and bang you up. He likes to throw hard punches. He likes to break you down. He likes to hit you everywhere. You're gonna hit in your body, your arms, the forehead, the ear, the neck. Wherever he can land a good one, he's gonna land it, and that usually breaks him down. So with some fighters, I see is that they think that Canelo is easy work because of the fact that he's flat-footed and he just kind of he does basic, I would say. He has basic skills, but he's really good at those basic fundamental skills. He does everything almost perfect. But yeah, he's flat-footed, but you got to realize that he also has hell of a head movement and body movement. he understands and he's perfected that rolling with the punch thing.
The night Terence Crawford fought Errol Spence is remembered as one of the most dominant performances in boxing history. Crawford displayed his full arsenal: speed, accuracy, timing, defense, and finishing ability, dismantling a fighter once seen as the best welterweight in the world, and he did it with ease. Many believe that victory secured his place among the greatest of this generation. Now, his training partners say he looks even sharper than he did in that fight. They point out that his speed is still there, his reflexes remain quick, and his conditioning is at its peak. Even with age, Crawford seems to have refined his style and focused to a higher level. Those watching his recent preparation believe he is in the best shape of his career, and that confidence could be the factor he needs against a dangerous opponent like Canelo.
More dangerous than ever, and most importantly, he looks like the greatest version of himself. Now, can we actually believe this? Can Terence Crawford at nearly 39 years old, with him being inactive, with him being heavier than ever, is it possible that the man will actually look better than ever? Now, let's think about it, ladies and gentlemen. When you're talking about someone like Terence Crawford or Canelo Alvarez, you're talking about the elite of the elite. And if I'm gonna be honest, Terence Crawford, when he fought Errol Spence, in my opinion, in all my years of watching combat sports, I'm a MMA guy turned into boxing. But I have never, ever in my life watched an elite championship fight and had my jaw absolutely drop to the floor with the greatness that I witnessed. And that is the only way to describe what Terence Crawford did versus Errol Spence. In my opinion, that was the greatest performance in our lifetime. I mean, I can't go back to the old days, I'm not a historian, but as far as I'm concerned, that was the greatest performance I have ever seen in my life. And especially to who he did it to, Errol Spence, dangerous southpaw at the time. I believe he was pound for pound number 3. And Terence Crawford absolutely annihilated him.
Former middleweight champion Kelly Pavlik shared his thoughts on how Crawford could defeat Canelo, focusing on the early rounds. Pavlik says Crawford must not let Canelo set the pace. Instead, he should rely on his footwork, combinations, and ring IQ to make Canelo work harder than usual. The idea is straightforward. If Crawford can force Canelo to throw more punches, move his feet, and chase the fight, it will drain his energy. Pavlik notes that Canelo has shown signs of slowing down in the later stages of long fights. That, he believes, is where Crawford's chance comes. By applying pressure early, Crawford can reduce Canelo's power as the fight wears on and give himself a real shot at outpointing him or even forcing a late stoppage.
Canelo's asked a little early on, put Canelo behind, right? Even if it's 3 out of the first 4 rounds. Because when Canelo has to fight, okay, when Canelo has to step it up, after 7 rounds, he starts to fade a little bit. We've seen that with Bivol. We've seen it in a lot of his fights with Triple G. You know, when Canelo could control the fight in the ring generalship, like, yeah, he could fight 12 rounds pretty good. But when Canelo gets pushed early on in the fight, he starts to fade muscle endurance-wise. So if I was Crawford, I would kind of stay in his ass a little bit on, you know, the early rounds and make him have to play catch-up in rounds 3, 4, 5. And then by round 7, that's where, you know, he could really step it up.
Dan Rafael pointed out a key difference in experience between the two fighters. He explained that Canelo has already faced and absorbed punches from opponents moving up from lighter divisions, including Floyd Mayweather, Amir Khan, and Miguel Cotto. These fighters were naturally smaller but still brought speed and skill, and Canelo proved he could adjust and handle them at higher weights. On the other hand, Crawford has yet to face a naturally bigger opponent with the kind of size and strength Canelo possesses. While Crawford has dominated multiple divisions, stepping in against someone truly comfortable at higher weights is a whole new challenge. Rafael's observation highlights that Canelo's experience at the elite level against all types of fighters could give him a major edge over Crawford, who has not yet been tested by that level of power and size.
Rafael kind of made a great point when talking about sizes, because he said if you look at them two together now, they look the same size. He said people have got the idea of the size thing wrong. It's not looking at them as a physical package, it's who has absorbed the bigger shots in the weight division. So, and it was good. It was a very good point. He was like, Canelo has been hit by light heavyweights and super middleweights for the best part of a decade.
Basically.
He's so used to taking those shots, whereas Crawford hasn't. Crawford's been hit by 140 guys and 147 guys for the best part of a decade.
Yeah.
What's Crawford going to be like? So basically, he's trying to say, Canelo could easily absorb Crawford shots. Mm-hmm. Can Crawford easily absorb Canelo's punches?
If you're taking shots from Triple G, Sergei Kovalev, Dmitry Bivol, and you're staying on your feet, not getting hurt,
not even getting wobbled.
Not even getting wobbled, just literally shaking it off.
Yeah.
You can take Terence Crawford shots.
100%.
Mikey Garcia has been clear in his prediction, saying Canelo can seriously hurt Terence Crawford. He points out that while Crawford is highly skilled, his defense may not be enough to handle Canelo's power. Garcia emphasizes Canelo's body shots, noting that hooks to the ribs and uppercuts to the midsection are among his most damaging weapons. He explains that Crawford is a brilliant technician, but skill only goes so far against raw power at a higher weight. Garcia sees the fight as very dangerous for Crawford because once Canelo lands significant punches, the momentum could shift immediately. His comments reflect a common concern among experts that the size and strength difference may simply be too much for Crawford to overcome.
That's when he takes a shot from Canelo. One of those uppercuts from Gia or those...
He could get dropped, or he feels it enough to be like, fuck this, I'm boxing. And goes on the bicycle and turns southpaw for the rest of the night. And I wouldn't blame him either. Fuck it, you're gonna go in there and collect the fucking paycheck at that point.
Right.
You're not gonna go get hurt.
Right.
What good is it to get fucking 20, 30 million if you are fucking hurt physically, end up in the hospital and hurt just physically, life-changing, you don't want that shit.
But you think Canelo could hurt him? It could be life-changing?
Sure, he's that big, fool. One punch could fucking knock him out bad enough to hurt his eye socket or detach retina. You never fucking know.
Right.
So no one wants that shit.
Crawford said if he beats him, he's in the top 3 GOATs of all time.
Oh, for sure. If Crawford beats Canelo, then for sure. You'll motherfucking props in the world, bro. And he actually does have a chance. It's not like he doesn't have a chance. Don't be too surprised if he fucking pulls it off in the decision.
Antonio offered a more positive take on Crawford's chances, focusing on his mental preparation. He explained that Crawford is known for visualizing his fights well before entering the ring, meaning he already understands the challenges Canelo presents and has mentally rehearsed how to handle them. Antonio says Crawford's strength is his adaptability and intelligence. He hasn't relied solely on physical ability but has built his career on adjusting to opponents, breaking them down and controlling the pace. In Antonio's view, this fight will be decided by skill, not weight classes. He believes that if Crawford follows his game plan, his versatility and boxing IQ could help him offset Canelo's physical advantages.
Terence gotta be Terence, bro. He's a real deep thinker. He processed fights like nobody else. And he's processed this Canelo fight. He's seen it. He went through it 2 or 3 times already. He knows how this ends. You can tell the way he shadow boxes. He visualizing Canelo being right there in front of him. You understand? Look at the movement. That's all you got to do. Look at the movement. And that's the type of master boxer that Canelo is going to be facing. And the only thing I say is Canelo hasn't faced an opponent like this in a long time. You know what I mean? I think Canelo's going to have to go back to the Caleb Plant fight and look that good, that active, that, you feel me, moving with that type of grace to beat Terence Crawford. Because weight ain't going to make the difference. It ain't going to be the weight. It's going to be the skill set.
That's a wrap for today's video. Stay tuned for more.